two of Page's mechanics. So the first part was about biomechanics, that is what you do with your own body. In particular, so now using the left hand to manipulate the left shoulder in order to generate power by maintaining that structure, making a nice strong structure with which you hit people. The second part of Page's mechanics is really about positioning, how you move your footwork to hit your opponent where they are weakest. Okay, so that's really what we're going to look at today. We're going to start off with the offensive action, what the best way is to attack people, and then look at the defensive part, how you get off the other person's line of strength so that you make them weak and you strong. So, we started yesterday with a quote from Page's Principle the Third, but we cheated and I only told you half of it. Okay? The utmost force and strength of a man is exerted in straight lines, and we now know what that means. And then he says, and at right angles. Thus, every throw is made perpendicular to the part aimed at. So what does that mean? Okay, I volunteer from you, you don't need a sword. Okay. So position yourself in a fencing-y stance. Excellent. Now, if I attack my opponent straight on when they're in this stance, am I attacking them in a line in which they are? If I try to put force in here, are they able to withstand this or not? Yes or no? Okay? Heels are in line, nice straight lines. Doesn't matter how hard I hit my opponent going forwards here, sort of. Okay, they can withstand this. I can swing away as hard as I like in this line, and I'm not going to break through their parry because they are lined up on that course. Put that down for a second. However, stay where you are. However, if I attack my opponent in this line, can they withstand that? No. What happens if I pull them this way? No. Okay? And if you've done any wrestling or unarmed combat, you will know this. You may know it by various terms. We call these triangle points. Everybody has two triangle points. One there, and one there. And if you want to drag people to the ground, you pull their head towards one of their triangle points and they tend to go. Okay? But this applies equally to weapon arms. Okay? So basically what Page's Principle the Third is saying is you form, in our parlance, you form a ground path at your opponent's triangle point. You form a strong structure at their weakest line. So let's have a look at how that works. So we're going to start using cut number one from an outside guard to a wide stance. So we're going to start square onto our chopper. Okay? Guard on the outside, hand in front of the target. Now, where is my opponent's triangle point in relation to me? Straight ahead. So this is easy. This is now nice and easy. If I attack straight ahead, my force is now going at my opponent's triangle point. And even if they turn their sword to parry, there is a good chance that I will blow through that because they are not structured to receive the force going in this line. Okay? And we're going to start doing this without swords. Okay? We're going to put the sword down, stand in our broad stance a little bit closer because you don't have a weapon, and throw cut number one just without harm. Okay, just so you can feel the forces involved. So everybody break into pairs to do that for a little while just so you can feel what is happening mechanically. So we're now going to do the same exercise but this time with sword in hand throwing cut number one, the inside cut. So outside guard, wide stance, hand in front of the tummy, make a nice big circle with the tip of your sword to go around the other side. And as the sword starts to come forward, I'm now going to lunge forward and a little bit back. So the new line is now heel to toe to my opponent's right foot. And as I do that, I'm going to straighten my arm so I have a nice solid ground path. I'm going to shift from a handshake, a hammer to a handshake grip so I get a little bit of acceleration with that point. and hit my opponent on the head with my sword at a little bit off 90 degrees, maybe off vertical, so 15 degrees or so. Cool. Now, if you could just not move, but just turn your sword to the outside, to an inside parry. So parry, you can see even that probably won't work. Okay? And you'll feel how much more powerful this is than if you attack somebody who is in a narrow stance as we will do it. Okay, so that's the exercise. Put your mask on and don't feel afraid to throw a bit of energy into it. And remember from yesterday that we also expand ourselves with that hand in order to generate a little bit more power. So we want to make our opponent, it's hard for our opponent to parry this as possible. Make them put a lot of effort into stopping this blow. Off you go. So when our opponent is in a wide stance, presenting their triangle point to us, it's easy. You just go straight at it. However, they may be in a narrow stance, and in most systems, people will stand more or less, maybe a little bit more or less in a straight line there. So if we can take a conventional inline stance, this time we're on an inside guard, and then down the back. Now if I attack my opponent straight ahead, parry, 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 yeah. Okay, am I attacking them where they are weak? Have I got any chance of blowing through this? Yes or no? No, he's blind and formed. He's structured to receive anything I can throw at him in that line. So I have to either aim at that triangle point or that triangle point. And we are going to look at 3 ways that you get there. And this is important because if you fight people from linear systems, you need a bit of variety in order to get around. So option number 1 is cut number 2 exactly as we did it yesterday. Okay? So if we remember, from our inside guard, I take my left foot on a big forward reverse, so move around to the left like so. I am literally aiming my sword cut there. Okay, this is really, really important. Okay, so this is not a cross cut. This is just down, and it is literally aiming my opponent's head down towards that triangle point. That's a nice little exercise to do. Make your cut, just place the flat of your blade on the back of your opponent's head and deliver a little bit of pressure downwards. In real life, this cut is aimed to basically hit them on the back of the neck, out the front of the neck, and I want their head to land there. That is where I'm aiming my force. Okay? So let's have a go at doing that with the swords in hand first of all. And then we're going to do a little empty hand exercise. So, against somebody in a narrow stance, I can aim at their forward triangle point on a deep forward reverse to the left, getting around the back like so. Literally aiming my sword there. Okay? However, we do have some other options. So, the first other option I've got is I'm going to start with the other foot forward in a hanging guard like this. We're going to do a little exercise at the end that shows you how come I've ended up in this position. But it's a position that you end up in quite commonly. If I've ended up in this position, I can instead step to the right and aim at the rear triangle. So I make a passing step forward and to the right and bring both feet around my opponent. So I'm now aiming there. Okay, so this is very typically medievalish, the sort of thing that you see in longsword and Sabre and anything that uses passing footwork. So from a left leg forward stance, I'm in hanging guard, I step forward and right, and strike like so. So this is again another cut number 1. So my hand goes from in front to behind. Okay, and unless he puts a lot of effort into that parry, it will blow through. I get to aim. So let's have a go at that one. From here, forward and right with both legs. And a triangle step. Okay, so if I'm right foot forward, I can get to the forward triangle point by stepping forward and left. If I happen to be left foot forward, I can get to the rear triangle point by stepping forward and left. There is one other way that I can get to that rear triangle point from a sword foot forward guard. Okay? And this one is interesting. What I'm going to do is charge my blow by stepping this right leg back and to the right. So I'm now dead parallel and I'm quite heavily weighted on this leg. Okay? We use this as a defense, but it's also a way of charging a nice big blow. And the difference is that now when I come back to where I started, my force is now coming in. So if I just did this, parry, good, no problem. The force is going straight ahead so you can deal with it. If, however, I came out to here and do the same throw, feel the difference. The magic is that my starting position and ending position is the same in both cases. All I've done is step out to the side and deliver that cut. And my force is getting in. So here's the exercise, inside guard, narrow stance. Pull back to a hanging St. Georgie thing above your head, bringing your foot out to the right and weighting that right leg. And then go back to where you came, back to an inside guard and cut. Okay? If you want to feel the difference between that and doing the same thing in a straight line, by all means do so. Alright? It is very common in this system for me to make multiple attacks in a row. So if we start on an outside guard, wide stance, so I just want you to parry and step back a little bit if I get too close. I will throw cut one, and then cut two, and then cut one, and then cut two, and then cut one, and then cut two. Okay? Every time I make those cuts, it's important to remember what it is you're doing, where you want to direct your force. When I throw cut one, I'm going straight ahead, right up the guts. Number two, I'm trying to get round the back. Then up the guts, then round the back, then up the guts, then round the back. Okay? I want to do this exercise without swords. Okay? So we're going to start. Square onto each other. I go move. I go up the guts. Pull. Okay? You go to a narrow stance. And then round the back. And then straight ahead. Narrow stance. And then round the back. Just remind yourself what these cuts are actually doing, where they are aimed. Okay? So just for a couple of minutes, just play with it. We're now going to pick our swords up. Yes, masks would be a good idea. And do the same exercise with swords in hand. Okay? The defender, you don't know how to defend properly yet, so just back off and turn from inside outside. Just put something in the way for now. Okay? But if I can have a volunteer, what do you guys?